Hey y'all, it's Cy, and this is my 8 month on testosterone video. I've tried to record this like 3 times, and every time is kind of ridiculous, and I get sidetracked, and then I have to stop and try it again. So maybe this will actually work. Um, yeah. So 8 months. Sometimes I honestly like forget um, that this is like a monthly thing that I like can document until I like go, oh, what's today? Oh, it's the 25th. It's been another month. But yeah, changes that I have noticed. My face. So my face now, like every couple of days, before it used to be like, oh, there's like a thin smattering of like scruff. Every couple of days now, it just kind of like pops itself up around the side of my face. Um, I am of the inclination to where, since I cannot grow any type of Connor Walsh style, or like permanent 5 o'clock bear cub status facial hair, that it needs to not be there. So I have now moved from shaving, like I say, I used to shave like realistically once a week. So now it's like twice a week. Hopefully that just increases like gradually. I'm excited about this. Or I would like my facial hair to stop coming in patches. That would be great. But assuming that it doesn't stop doing that, I'm just gonna keep shaving. And watch in like maybe another few months. I'm gonna be like, I'm over this shaving business. But right now, I'm very excited. Um, so that's cool. You can kind of like see the fun thing that is my like dad mustache. Um, let's see other things. Things that I noticed, like my hands are like veinier than they were before, and same as this lovely muscle running up and down my arm. Someone pointed out to me, they were like, your arms are like definitely more veiny, which is cool. Um, I mean, I guess it helps. Just like they're like little things. It's like more hair. It's still not the like fuzzy man blanket that I want, but like it'll be there in like maybe a year or so. Um, the I now officially, the hair on my back of my knees now connects to the hair on top of my knees. It's still kind of light, and people keep asking me if I shave or not, which is really funny. I'm like, no, I do not shave my legs. It's just very thin. Um, and it's kind of creeping up slowly, so hopefully it will like turn into something noticeable. Um, the butt hair is still there. It's definitely, I think it's just really funny. Um, let's see. Voice. I don't really notice a whole lot about my voice, although I did see a friend of mine who I hadn't seen since I saw him like maybe my first month on testosterone, like, and he was like, not much has changed. I'm like, yeah, I didn't expect it, but he saw me and he was like, oh my god, your voice is like really deep. So that was cool. What else? Hair on my head. It's oddly enough, it changed texture. It used to be like super super soft, and now it's a little bit coarser. I don't know what that's all about. And also, like my hairline is definitely moving backwards. I definitely like I've been gradually watching this like move back from my temple, which is kind of cool. I mean, I have a more masculine hairline now. That's fine. Um, what else? Shirts. This is new. Shirts have officially, like some shirts have stopped fitting here in the shoulder, and part of that I think is due to this lovely development right here in the back, where they like basically have started going like this, which is not fun. So I think I'll have to reevaluate like the shirt business. I'm trying to not buy any more clothes right now, um, unless I can help it. Just because, at least shirts wise, because my shoulders are changing, and so is my back. Um, also, I think that's also due to the fact that I've like started working out like 4 or 5 days a week again, which is really cool. I also think that that might have something to do with like the amount of physical changes that I'm starting to see, because like muscle growth and development and things are getting ignited or whatever. What else? My shoe size. My shoe size has gone up. Um, I was like a half size, and now I can like very solidly wear like a men's 9. Yeah, like I want to put on 8.5, and maybe it's just depending on the shoe. But before I was like somewhere between an 8, 8.5, and 9, like an 8.5, 9. So my shoe size has gotten bigger, which is, I'm like, that's really weird to think about. But who knows? Definitely there are some shirts, my waist has done this really weird thing, or just continued to do the same thing, which is like move from my sides to like my belly. So there's more of me in the middle, but I'm okay with that, at least today. Other fun changes that I notice, I've become surprisingly more self-conscious about my ID card. I think the longer on testosterone I am, the more concerned, or at least aware of the fact that my license does say like female on it, and the picture is of me with like a mohawk, which is fine. Like I get away with telling people, oh, it was like when I was an undergrad, and or like it was when I was younger, and people are like, oh yeah, like, well, they say you look older and more mature, which is totally fine. But definitely I hope that they don't, no one's ever really said anything about my license not matching up, as far as like me being perceived as male, and then there being an F on my license, which is fine. Sometimes I think I'll change it. I'm not really quite sure yet. Still trying to figure out what that is. Oh, speaking of like medical thingies, so I called Melissa Johnson's office to schedule an appointment. They're going to get back to me with some options, but I just scheduled, I'm in the process of scheduling my consult, which is like super great for me, because I put it off this year, this like current year, because I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have the money for it. I don't think I'm gonna have the time. I'm not ready yet. And I was like sitting one day and I was like, no, I think I am ready. Like, I'm actually ready for this. I'm tired of whining. Like, that's painful. And I'm tired of like, I just like there's literally a weight on my chest that I would like to get off at this point. And that's kind of, it's a lot of hassle when it comes to thinking about me relating to other people, and like people relating to my body in intimate spaces. And that's definitely like really nerve-wracking, and I'm like kind of over it. So I'm like ready for that to be gone. So I like bit the bullet, and I can afford it. Thank you very much, grad school, for giving, you know, us insurance that only makes me pay like $500, which like can be easily saved. Easily saved in the next couple of months, if I don't treat myself too often. I need to not do that. But yeah, so that's happening, and I'm really excited. So I'm shooting for sometime, hopefully, if things work out, because we start classes at a really weird time. Hopefully sometime in like that like fall break area, or the way that our schedule works is that next year, because I'm teaching a course, I'll get a couple of days off prior to, like, I think it's Thanksgiving or fall break, one of those two. But if I can swing it with work, I should be able to at least rest for 2 weeks, which would be great. It might mean another Thanksgiving here in Massachusetts as opposed to back in California, which I'm not happy about because I enjoy spending Thanksgiving with my family, and like it's just kind of hard. I was really bummed about not being able to go back for Thanksgiving this year, or Christmas break, like the first week of Christmas break, and then literally just like put my butt on a plane, like get my drains out, and then fly home, back to California for like weeks, which is fine. I mean, I will have a shorter break, but I think in the scheme of things, like being able to graduate, like top, like that would be, oh my god, that's so great. Like I've accomplished things in college, like in grad school, with my life. Yeah, that's huge news for me. I'm really like, that's the biggest part. Other things, I got a new job for next year. I got my job placement for next year, and so I will be living on campus. I've enjoyed having this freedom, so I do not live in the dorms, and that's been a really like nice thing to have some sort of break, but financially it was just not feasible. So I got a job on campus that gives me free housing, which is wonderful, but also is going to be really interesting living on campus and being seen on campus, and not necessarily getting to have that break, which will mean very interesting things for me, as far as transition goes, luckily I feel like a lot of my students are going to be meeting me now at this point versus like month 3, which was really interesting because I obviously looked and probably sounded really different. Um, so, a year plus on testosterone, like I feel like I'll just look like a young dude, which is fine. I'm like totally okay with looking like a young dude. Um, yeah, like that's totally fine. Oh, before I forget, the one young dude thing that has been happening is like my face is breaking out. So I'm like breaking out here, and I've started to break out on my shoulders, which is fine. I have body wash, and we're gonna make it work. This did not happen to me the first time I went through puberty, and I'm not a fan of the second time around business. That's gross. But like another fun thing is that my roommate started testosterone. One of my roommates started testosterone too, which is kind of cool. Just because like I'm now in the spot where they were as far as like watching someone and being like, oh my god. And then it's little things like the first couple of days they like ate everything, and I was going, I remember eating everything, but I didn't actually like. I couldn't see what that looked like, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope I'm pretty sure I ate more than that. It was just funny. Things like I watched them give themselves a shot, and it's confirmed that like injectable testosterone, although while awesome and its things are great, yeah, I could never do that to myself. So somebody would probably have to stab me in the butt on a regular basis, or I'm just going to stay on the gel. Quite frankly, staying on the gel is fine. I'm okay with that, unless there's some sort of like catastrophic life thing that requires me to switch to injectable testosterone. I think we're going to be okay. Yeah. Other changes that I've noticed. I will say that one of the things that I have kind of been feeling is like this really, the more male I look, the more I hold on to my gender queerness, I think, in a particular context. And what I mean is, the more folks are reading me as a cis man, because it's happening and I'm freaking out. It's more I'm realizing that I don't identify as a cis man. Don't identify as a man. And so like that's been something to kind of sit with even further, especially now. And I knew that was going to be a thing, but I didn't realize like what that was going to look like, especially in the space that I am, where there's not a lot of queer, like visibly queer people, or the visible queerness is queer in a way that I am not. Like long hair for men, and that's not something that I ever plan on doing, or like they're thin and they're usually white, and like that's just not very clearly not me. I'm like a big bearish thing, which is great, but it's definitely something to like think about, like my identity. It's really funny. Somebody asked me, and I was like, I feel more like a bear than I do a man. Like this like creature that just kind of like lumbers about and is really excited and is happy and friendly and lovable and loves on humans, and like that seems more like my gender identity than man ever will be. At least I think I will always, like, there would be a point where I'm like, I will look like one at some point, but I will never, I don't think I'll feel like one. I feel more like myself, but I don't think I feel like a man. And that's, somebody asked me, and I've been like trying to articulate that, and like was like, oh, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, definitely a lot of my classes sometimes get grouped into very binary functions of like man, non-man, like non-man, rather man, woman, and I'm like, where do I, like, literally, where do I go? And this is stuff that I thought that I didn't have to deal with, especially in a grad program, or especially in a space where we can talk about identities and we're talking about being more inclusive, and yet somehow I feel more excluded, which has been really interesting, because then I feel really awkward about going into like experiences in women's spaces because I am not a woman. I'm not read as one. Like there are certain things that I recognize. I do not ever want to feel threatening in any way, like shape or form. So I do not want to enter those spaces if that's what that's going to do. And I think that that's really important for me to like articulate and vocalize and know in myself. And I think that it's just that, all right, so if I can't go there, where do I go? And understanding that, like, yes, there is a masculine privilege that I own, and the red is male privilege that I have, and the male privilege granted to me by society, even though that is not my identity. And so how do I kind of be in that space and not really be one of you, you know? So it's like a infiltrator status. But other than that, oh, fun fact before I sign off, because I'm realizing that this is like 15 minutes, I'm getting another tattoo, and I'm hopefully going to get it the weekend after I finish my first weekend workshop, which is going to be great. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll either make a video sometime in between then, probably not, and if not, I'll see you in month 9. Alright, talk to y'all later.